My dog came home with perfume on his fur. That's how I found out she was cheating. Let's call her Sasha. And my dog? His name was Biscuit, a golden retriever with caramel fur and those soft, floppy ears that made him impossible to stay mad at. He wasn't just a pet. He was my sanity. I got him after my dad passed away, those quiet days when coming home to an empty apartment felt like walking into a vacuum. Biscuit was the light that stayed on when everything else dimmed. And Sasha? She fit right into that light. At least at first. She and I had been dating for just over a year. I met her at a mutual friend's birthday party. She was witty, warm, and she practically tackled Biscuit the first time she saw him. Said she'd always wanted a dog but couldn't have one growing up. That moment, watching Biscuit roll on his back while she scratched his belly like they were long-lost best friends, it melted something in me. We got serious fast. Movie nights, weekend hikes, lazy Sundays with Biscuit snoring at our feet. She even kept treats in her purse for him. It felt right. Normal. Safe. I should have known better. It was a Thursday when I noticed it. Biscuit had just come back in from his usual backyard patrol. He nudged the door open with his nose, like always, tail wagging. I leaned down to ruffle his fur. And I froze. He smelled like cologne. Not shampoo. Not me. Not Sasha's floral perfume. This was deep, musky, sharp. The kind of scent that lingered in elevators and stuck to skin after a hug. I sniffed again. Strongest around his neck and shoulders. Someone had been petting him. Someone male. I checked the yard. Fence still closed. Biscuit never strays. He's friendly, sure, but cautious. And he's not the kind of dog to let just anyone touch him. I asked Sasha that night if she'd had anyone over. She laughed. No. Why? I told her about the smell. She blinked, too slow, and shrugged it off. Maybe he rubbed up against something outside. Or maybe you're just being paranoid. That word. Paranoid. The way she said it, light, dismissive, like it wasn't even worth a real answer, it hit me wrong. My stomach turned. But I let it go. For the moment. The next time it happened was 4 days later. Same scenario. Biscuit came inside. Same scent. This time, I didn't ask. I started paying attention. Sasha was texting more. Smiling at her phone. She changed her lock screen. Her late meetings started happening more often. One night, she came home humming, that content, dazed kind of hum like she'd had fun. I didn't sleep that night. I waited until she was in the shower the next day. And yeah, I checked her phone. I hate that I did. But I hate more that I had a reason to. She hadn't changed her passcode. Part of me hoped I'd find nothing. That I'd be wrong. That I'd close the phone, feel ashamed for not trusting her, and take Biscuit on the longest walk of our lives just to clear my head. But then I opened a thread labeled James Jim, flex biceps emoji. At first glance, it was harmless. Jokes. Workout tips. Memes. But then I scrolled. Flirty texts. Shirtless mirror selfies. Plans to meet after your boyfriend leaves. Voice notes that made my skin crawl. And then, the gut punch. A video. Biscuit. In someone else's apartment. Panting happily. Playing with a rope toy. While Sasha giggled in the background. She brought my dog to cheat. Like he was part of the fun. That was the moment everything snapped. I waited until she came out of the bathroom. Didn't raise my voice. Just held up her phone and said, "Who's James?" Her face dropped. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Sat down like her legs gave out. And then the waterworks began. Her story changed 5 times in one night. Just a friend. We didn't sleep together. It only happened once. I was going to tell you. I felt neglected. I stood there in silence while she unraveled. Biscuit came and laid at my feet like he could feel the storm inside me. When she finally looked up, puffy-eyed and shaking, I just said, "Get out. And don't come near me or Biscuit again." She cried. Begged. Promised she'd fix it. I didn't answer. I just opened the door. She left. The next few days were quiet. Biscuit seemed lighter. Happier. Like even he knew she was gone. We took longer walks. I started sleeping better. I thought, maybe, we were on the way to healing. Then, 1 week later, Biscuit vanished. I came home from work. Front door locked. Windows shut. Gate closed. But he was gone. No barking. No torn up cushion. No signs of struggle. Just gone. I lost it. Ran up and down the neighborhood. Called his name until my voice cracked. Posted on every lost pet group I could find. Called the shelter. Drove to every vet in a 15-mile radius. Nothing. Then, that night, a message from a blocked number. You don't deserve him. I went straight to Sasha's place. She answered in leggings and a sweatshirt, hair up like she hadn't just destroyed my world. I didn't even ask. Just stared at her. She rolled her eyes. You really think I'd steal your dog? I didn't respond. She smiled, cold, smug. Maybe he just ran away. Maybe he didn't want to be around you anymore. I should have reported her. I should have done something. But I had no proof. No footage. No witnesses. Just a sick feeling in my gut and a broken leash in my hand. 3 days later, I got another message. A drop pin. Coordinates to the old dog park we used to go to. I rushed there, heart slamming in my chest. And there he was. Tied to a rusted fence post. Dirty. Shivering. Dehydrated. His leash knotted so tight it left a mark. I dropped to my knees. He whimpered once, then buried his head in my chest. I brought him home. Cleaned him. Cried into his fur. But he wasn't the same. He barely ate. Slept too much. When I touched his stomach, he flinched. I took him to the vet. Blood tests. Hydration therapy. The vet said maybe stress. Maybe something he ate. I asked if it could have been poison. They said it was possible, but without a sample or symptoms still present, there was no way to prove it. I watched Biscuit like a hawk after that. Slept beside him. Skipped work. For a few days, he seemed better. Then, one morning, I woke up and he was gone. Still. Cold. Curled into himself like he'd gone quietly so I wouldn't worry. I buried Biscuit under the oak tree at my childhood home. The same tree my dad used to sit under with me when I was 5. The same tree where Biscuit chased squirrels the first time I introduced him to my mom. I didn't invite anyone to the burial. Not friends. Not family. Just me. A spade. And a grief I couldn't name. That night, I got one last message. You should have forgiven me. I'll never be able to prove it. She didn't confess. There's no police report. No camera footage. Just a slow death, a broken heart, and a trail of scent that never should have been on my dog's fur. She didn't just cheat. She didn't just lie. She took the one innocent thing in my life and used him as a weapon, and when that didn't get me back, she destroyed him. And I will never forgive myself for letting her near him. If you've ever trusted the wrong person and lost something you can never replace, hit like. Subscribe for more true confessions, heartbreak stories, and warnings dressed like love. Sometimes, betrayal doesn't stab you in the back. It poisons your best friend. And smiles while you watch him die.